Week 7 of the NFL season quickly approaching right here. And who else would we want to break that down with? My very good and old friend, Jamie Erdahl, is here with us.
Yeah. What's up?
Studio.
How's everybody doing?
Doing fantastic. You?
Great. You know, it's this is like hour 9 for me, awake and functioning and talking about football. So just a quick drive over from Good Morning Football to here to just keep it rolling.
The last time that we were sitting here was right after you moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
There's been an evolution of the show, obviously, since then. Manti Te'o's been fantastic on the show.
Yes, he has.
With you guys out here. How are you adjusting to life on the West Coast?
You know, my kids are a little younger than yours. The young kid life lends itself to the morning show life. So our whole house is just dark at 8:30 p.m. Everyone's asleep by then, and I get up at 3 and I do the show, and I'm home usually, if I'm not doing something like this, by 10 a.m.
Yeah, I'm sorry to take you away from it. So not only you're hosting Good Morning Football, but you have a new YouTube show called No Breaks with Jamie Erdahl, and I was like, oh, and I now contributed to the No Break thing. This is normally probably the break when one of the kids is at school, and instead you're here, which I appreciate.
You got to walk the walk, talk the talk, live the life, and it does feel like right now in this era there are no breaks for me, and also a play on the all gas no breaks football thing, but this is no commercial breaks because no one's paid me to take one of those yet. So I'm just talk and yap for about 35 minutes every day, live on YouTube at 4 p.m. Eastern. And it's pretty much all the thoughts that I don't get out on Good Morning Football. So it's anything that's not football related, parenting, family, friendships, marriage, what have you. So it's kind of a fill in the blank Mad Libs type show.
How much of scheduling that at 4 p.m. is about making sure that you actually power through and then aren't taking like periodic naps through the day so that it screws up your overnight sleep?
It's actually a great question, and you saw right through me. So it is locally done at 1 p.m. And if I didn't have something to do at 1 p.m. I also had this realization the other day as I was walking to the little studio that I built into the house for it, which was I walked right past the treadmill and the exercise bike that I had, and I was like, you know, it's weird how I've fully carved out 45 minutes of my day to do more talking and sitting and not like, what could I do for my cardiovascular health instead? And I just was like, no, I'm going to go do that YouTube show instead. So
and today you're talking and sitting.
And more sitting
here
and more
with us,
talking.
Which we greatly appreciate you coming by.
You got to know what you're good at, you know?
We're a third of the way through the NFL season. What's the biggest surprise to Jamie Erdahl so far this season?
You know what I love about this season is that everyone's right and everyone's wrong, and people can stop complaining or yelling at you if you got something wrong about their team, because everyone's kind of mediocre, and I like it. You know, everyone predicts things, and I just hear less beef and less chatter in the inbox, if you will, from fan bases, because everyone's been humbled at some point already this season. We were talking this morning on Good Morning Football, 11 4-win teams. And I like it like that. I personally think that it's more fun if you don't have the juggernaut, because then we kind of are really all focused on the juggernaut. And I like the fact that teams are demanding us to talk about them in normally a term that we wouldn't, like a Seahawks team, like a Jaguars team. So I like spreading the wealth because at least editorially it makes it more interesting for us.
11 4-win teams. There's also, I looked this up yesterday, 20 teams that are 3-3 or better.
Yeah.
So right now, sitting here, we're 20 days out from the trade deadline. Yeah. And to the extent that in talking to and texting with GMs yesterday, everyone's like, yeah, it's really quiet. It's like, because there's not many teams that yet can convince themselves, much less their owners, like, hey, we should trade everybody right now.
Buy or sell.
Everybody, except maybe the Jets and the Titans, are kind of in a spot where it's like, well, we still got an opportunity. There's a path for us to get back into this thing.
And then you just got done talking about like the Tomlin, the weird AFC North triangle, which I was really enjoying that conversation. And just like, we always look at the Cowboys and Jerry Jones as he says things to kind of stir the pot. And I fully think Tomlin doesn't take that approach. I just think he says things to say them that's on his mind. And it's not to stir the pot. It's how he actually feels. So it's, you know, I was wondering that about the trade deadline. First of all, it's odd that it's so late. It kind of bugs me that it's into November. I kind of put Halloween as like my trade deadline.
And they bumped it a couple of years ago.
Did, yeah.
Yes, trade deadline was on Halloween 2 years ago.
Yes, it was.
We had trades. I felt great getting past it. We did our show. I went out trick-or-treating with the kids. Woke up to approximately 47 missed calls and text messages about Josh McDaniels being fired immediately after the trade deadline. It's the short list of like 3 firings I've ever slept through. But that was a case where I'm like, all right, We got through the deadline. I'm checking on it, but it's like,
You
they're not
were.
going to fire him on Halloween night after the trade deadline. And they did.
And they did.
And you never know when that's going to occur.
No, you do not. I thought you were going to say you slept through it because like that Raiders team was just one that you were sleeping on, if you will.
No,
but
I had my AirPod on. It's trick-or-treating in Minneapolis.
Do you sleep with AirPods in?
It depends. I sleep with AirPods in if there's a specific piece of news I'm waiting for.
And what does your AirPods say to you? Is it a voice that's like,
It's
wake
Siri.
up, Tom, things are happening?
No, Siri, though, will be like, you got a text message for this person said this.
Okay, wait, no. You
Even when
can't.
if
Stop
I-
down.
I've
So
never
then when Siri
heard that
says,
before.
Tom, you have a text from Mom, you're like, go away, Mom, I'm not going to respond right now. But if
reads
it's
the
like
text.
from Andrew
it reads
Barry,
the whole text.
stop it. And your brain is processing it through osmosis or something?
I mean, I will sort of jolt awake. And then if it's not important, I'll click the little thing and it'll go away.
I don't think
If
people
it
knew
is
this about
important-
insiders.
This last year, it happened.
I don't think this is healthy.
I
love
did
it.
it last year. It was middle of the season.
Yeah.
And again, I was like, man, I'm bushed. It's 10 o'clock or 10:30, whatever. When the Central Time, the Sunday night game had ended, I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed. But like, there's enough stuff here that like something weird could happen. So I have my AirPods in, and sure enough, like 20 minutes later, the phone rings. In that case, it was a call. But then I've got the ringing in my ear and saying, this person is calling you. And I picked it up, and it was, dude, you better call Vegas because they just fired Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator. If I hadn't slept with the AirPods in, and that was literally from that Halloween experience, ever since then, if I think there's a faint chance of something happening overnight, AirPods are in.
What is playing in the AirPods when
Do you want
you're...
to sit here and interview me?
No, kind of.
Yes.
No, bring it on. Bring it on.
go.
I am all for
I
this
mean, Todd,
conversation.
people are always wondering how you guys get this stuff done. And frankly, I've never heard of this before, and I've never had the audacity to ask. And that was really fascinating to me. And now it makes me feel a lot less productive than me having like 3 television shows that I'm trying to manage.
Well, you have, and I feel it when I'm here. Two years in a row, I've been here hosting this show when the first head coach firing of the season happened. Last year, it was Robert Saleh on a Tuesday, which happened right before
Because Rich
this
Kurt and
show.
I had just done that Jets-Vikings game.
Correct.
And I came back, and it was like... I was on the Jets sideline for that game, just staring at the back of Aaron Rodgers, like sad body language
And it was
the
the
entire
worst
game.
I will always say,
worst.
I covered Aaron, from early in his career, his
Yes.
first year as the starter in Green Bay, and I was at the Green Bay Press Gazette. I have never seen him play a worse game than that one. But my thinking was, Aaron is done. It wasn't Robert Saleh is gone. Though in hindsight, you looked back, and there was just kind of this sinking vibe around the team. Woody Johnson had already kind of decided he didn't want Saleh to be the coach. But usually, if you're going to do that, then you fire him on Monday, not waiting till Tuesday.
Right.
And then this year, live on this show, Brian Callahan is fired via press release in the middle of the show. So, I mean, my point is, when you're doing those shows, you are so ensconced in it from 2 hours before the show, prepping for GMFB, through, in your case, a 4-hour show, including Good Morning Football overtime. That is a little bit different than me popping on your show for 90 seconds, making a wisecrack about Kyle, delivering you some injury news, and then going back to making calls again.
You do it so beautifully, though, and we appreciate the effort that you do.
I do appreciate that. What do you think of your Vikings right now? You got to see them over there.
I did. I'm still holding out judgment on it. It's a weird season. And honestly, I'm glad that what's happening to them, again, is kind of happening to everybody right now. And it's he who manages the injuries the best is how this season's going to go. I haven't struck up an opinion yet about when we should see JJ McCarthy again because of how well KOC and Josh McCown handle any quarterback that comes in the building. I think JJ, I talked to him in Dublin before the game, and he seemed in good spirits and he really wanted to practice. I personally, I don't know about you or the philosophy on this, I was surprised that injured players were on the trip, to be honest. Like, I think about swelling and travel and all that jazz, and it's like Aaron Jones was on IR. Andrew Van Ginkel didn't play either of those games, and JJ's there. That's 3 pretty important players. I felt like leave them back in Egan. Leave one trainer with the guys.
Although I saw they fired up Aaron Jones for some type of community event, so maybe that was part of the role, which is like he's got time. He can go over and do it. I mean, the Steelers brought their quarterback who's on injured reserve, and he got jumped and robbed in Dublin. So yes, there's something to be said for that. With JJ, I feel for him because I mean, think about the amount of time the guy has missed. He's never really been injured before.
I don't know if I feel for him that badly. honestly.
It's a lot for a young guy. You're draft. I mean, look at every other quarterback who we were talking about last year. It is Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix. They've all got winning records this season. They're all at various stages of their development. JJ, we didn't see him 1 second last year.
Yep.
We see him for 2 games this year, but one of which is on a short week, plus he missed the day because he had a child born, gets hurt. Now he's right back to being injured. From what I'm told, I said this on Sunday morning on Game Day Kickoff, he's not 100% yet on the ankle. Yeah. They'll see him this week. They'll see his mobility is, but this is a ton of time. Guys don't miss a year of football and just bounce right back. And so I pumped the brakes on anybody who's like, JJ clearly like this is not going to work out. He's played badly. It's like, he hasn't had time on task, and that's hard.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant, I guess, by holding out judgment. I'm going to hold out judgment on their current decision-making about the quarterbacks and about long-term decision-making about JJ. What I said, I don't feel badly for him, is that I didn't see that going well the month of September. I think, honestly, sometimes you start driving on a road trip and, like, you get the flat tire and then you run out of gas. And you're like, you know what? I think I need to stop the night at a hotel. Like, I think this day needs to be done. Just take the break for a second. And I actually, not that I wish injury upon anybody, but I do feel that him having the 2 games experience, and then even if it is a long break, now he can actually conceptualize what it means to be a starting quarterback. When he's sitting in meetings last year, he had no concept of what the speed of the game felt like, what the IQ demands were of the playbook. He was thinking it could be explained to him. Now he's got 2 game sample size. I think he needs to be like 110% healthy before and then add another week and then get him in there. But they've got 2 games in 5 days next week coming off of a bye. So I think we see Carson for a little bit, and I'm okay with that.
The easy thing to do would be just say, all right, there's all this pressure on us. We got to prove that we got to prove we picked the right guy out of the 6 quarterbacks. Let's push him back out the moment he's healthy. There's a difference between healthy and ready, which is where I give Kevin O'Connell credit for doing the hard thing. And again, we'll see whether or not he might look great in practice this week. And Carson, who's got a bad left shoulder, might not look good in the course of practice here. Maybe he plays. But the hard thing, which is what Kevin's going to do, is just go, I don't need to push the guy. I don't care what the media is saying. I don't care what the fans are saying. Like, I'm going to wait until he's in a groove. Operationally, he's got everything here, but it does put the Vikings in a spot where, I don't think anybody drew it up as, let's have a Carson Wentz revenge game against the Eagles in week 7. Especially because he wasn't even on the team until late August.
It's a sweet story and all, and I feel like we're really gripping for some revenge game storyline sometimes. Like there's
not enough. I'm always up for a good revenge game.
Every week you can find it. It's like enough. I feel like there's only 5 authentic revenge games in a season, and like we're already at max capacity just because of all the movement that goes down. But I hear you on the Carson Wentz thing. I just think I would rather rely on Carson Wentz the way a Joe Flacco is. Like, the guy's got experience. He knows what's up. He knows what he can and cannot handle. And I just don't think you can say the same about JJ McCarthy right now. He doesn't know what's what. And that's okay. You're allowed to be like that in your second year.
What was Dublin like? The game aside, first time the NFL has been there. Yep. Unique city. I don't know if you had visited before, but what was it like?
So I've had the unique experience in the last couple of years, too. I was in Munich for the first game and then Dublin for the first game. So I kind of understand, and I'll be in Madrid next month. I kind of understand what it means like for the first touchdown, regular season game and whatnot. So what I felt in the city was they couldn't have picked 2 better organizations, I feel like, in terms of fans willing to travel, kind of like genealogical connection to the region of the world, if you will, of like Vikings fans and Minnesotans, and then just the Steelers. I thought the city was 50-50 in terms of fans. Then you get into the stadium and it was like 70-30 in favor of the Steelers. Like, it was wild in there. But the city performed well. Someone told me before I got there that like you really understand how many shades of green there are once you get to Ireland, and that was true. A lot of grass, very rich, very lush landscape, and it was a fine game. It wasn't like the greatest game I've ever witnessed in person, but Dublin was fun. Guinness was great. I liked it. I probably will only ever drink it in Ireland if I could be so bratty.
Did it taste different? I've not been.
Okay, I'm a beer drinker. But I had not had Guinness in the continental U.S.
See, you should have then. You got to establish the baseline, the control subject, because now we can't take anything in terms of review.
I think now I'm just going to be like high maintenance and highbrow like that. Like I'm only going to drink champagne in the south of France, and like I'm only going to drink red wine in Italy.
And ruin it forever in any other venue, any other time.
I will only drink domestic coffee in Seattle, and I will only have Guinness in Dublin, and it was fantastic. And the whole like splitting the G phenomenon that I was attempting to do. I mean, I just signed up for drinking like so many Guinness because I was just trying to hit the line right there. It was a lot of attempts, Tom.
I saw they were running that clip of you repeatedly. I don't know if you guys saw this.
I saw it.
To and from break. A whole show for 4 hours of Jamie. So the idea, explain the drink it to the G.
The classic Guinness glass has the branding in the middle. And this apparently only recently became a social media phenomenon. And it's you get it poured on tap and there's the creamy top and then the Guinness. Well, you're supposed to drink the beer, and you are trying to do it in a singular glug to when you set the beer down, the foam and the dark beer is perfectly on the bridge of the G. And as you know, on GMFB, we do a lot of things like for the purpose of entertaining television.
Of course.
And I really regret, I undershot it on my first one. So I was like, I had about that much to go. On my second one, I should have just gone full send. And I really regret that.
You came up short of the first one,
if my eyes don't deceive me. Tom.
No, but the first drink was bigger than the second from what I could tell.
Yeah, and then I started to like try to overcorrect on the sips, and like that's not how you play the game. And then I ended up just chugging the whole beer on my Instagram. So
and then you went out and then you did another 3.5 hours of TV.
Pretty much.
Which is very solid.
No breaks. No breaks.
Speaking of no breaks, I know you have none. We have to take one. Can you stick around for one more segment?
If you'll have me.
More Jamie Erdahl in studio.
I've already gone through my nap window.
Jamie Erdahl hanging out for a little bit longer here. No breaks ever. Both the name of her new YouTube show as well as a lifestyle.
Yes, it is.
There it is.
Oh, thanks, guys.
That is a fantastic sweatsuit. You are a sweatsuit connoisseur. Yeah,
Thank
for sure.
you. I regret wearing jeans today, honestly. It just feels very off-brand for me, but, you know.
You should have worn that green sweatsuit when you went to Dublin and walked around. Like, everyone dresses here like this,
Who
right?
says I didn't, Tom?
Green. Did you?
For sure.
Were you out on the streets in it?
For sure. I was blending in with the grass and the random golf courses that I drove by. Thank you. Yeah, it's I don't like taking still photographs like that. Photo shoots may be uncomfortable, but if I have to do it, it will be done in a sweatsuit. Honestly, in permanence. Like, I don't think I'll ever take another photo professionally without it being in a sweatsuit.
Photo shoots it's an uncomfortable thing. Like, we have to do it every 3 years for NFL Network. And I'm always like, hey, I'm wearing a nice suit. Like, I think I look good. And then they'll be like, they click through on the computer. I'm always like, every horrible face. I'm like, do I look like that?
Let me ask you this, Tom. Some people would have an opinion about I should be holding a microphone in my professional headshot, and the former player's got to be spinning the football. Do you hold the pen and paper? Or the cell phone in yours?
No, they give me the football, and then that's another thing where I'm like, hey,
what do
I've
do
never
with
seen
this?
a football before. I'm spinning it, but I'm dropping the ball. So somewhere there are hundreds of proofs of me, the ball spinning off my hand.
Oh, no.
Me having just dropped it.
Your photo should be sleeping with the AirPod in your ear.
Totally.
That would make quite the profile photo on social media right there.
Yeah,
that's Tom.
Commitment to Unfortunately,
who's calling me?
Yeah, Brockman posted a photo over here when I was on phone before the show the other day. And again, I'm like, that's not a face that needs to be anywhere.
Yeah, but you were dialed on the internet. I don't even know who you were saying. You could have been talking to your wife.
I don't even remember what it was, but it was something that seemed important in that moment. But everything is important.
That's what I respect about you guys. He who lies within the insider world of the NFL, it's you guys take everything so seriously. And for a show on Good Morning Football, sometimes we don't take enough things seriously, probably. You come on and sometimes you're you straighten us up real quick. You're the shoelace that we need.
I'm always the bad news guy, though, on that show.
My tone does have to change sometimes when I welcome you in.
Talking about the most, I don't want to say inane things, but just silly nonsense. Sure. And it's Kyle doing a bit and Manti reacting, and we're talking about his muscles or his shirt or whatever. And they'll be like, and Tom, there was devastating news yesterday as this former coach died. And it's I don't really feel comfortable making that turn because I'm just coming on. That's right. And I just bring it back down to the lowest point.
You know what I appreciate about you, Tom, because you and I have known each other for so long. I think you and I do have a good unspoken language between the two of us. So we'll be talking about something ridiculous, and I will have a sense for like, you know what? I think Tom would want to add to this, and so we will include you.
I try to give you the ESP where I just kind of give you one of these looks,
the
like
smirk. It's honestly the Tom smirk.
You should ask me about what you were just talking about.
Yeah, or like you think we're being ridiculous, but I do have something to add. Or I know that if we are either like up against a break, no breaks. If we're up against a break, or it is something kind of serious, a suspension or a firing or a significant injury, I know like my tone has to change. But it's really annoying when you guys are like, you know what, I do want to add. I'm like, well, now I look like a buffoon because I just tried to take a left turn.
You're very good at navigating and making the turns. So you'll be in Madrid. First game ever in Spain. What do we know that you can share with us right now about what that entire week is going to look like?
Oh, boy. That's a great question, Tom. Can we go back to me asking you questions?
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
I mean, I know the teams that are going to be playing, and unfortunately, in the worst football cliche possible, right now, I know I'm going, and it's like one day at a time kind of situation. But I know, honestly, I don't know much. And that's a truthful statement. Commanders, Dolphins.
So you're going to show up, and they're going to be like, Jamie's running with the Bulls pregame. You're going to be like, oh, I should have read the production notes.
Are you doing that?
I don't know anything.
You know what? I think that's why they send me
a handkerchief around your neck.
I think that's why they send me to these things, is my willingness to do the ridiculous. Because in Croke Park, this security guy walked over to me and was like, did you know they give tours up top? And this thing was the top of the stadium. And I was like, did we fax out a camera up there? Because I want to go. And they tried, and I was going to go full send. And so I will do
like the rafters?
Yeah, above the rafters.
That's not for me.
Oh, heck yeah, it is.
It
was for me.
No fear of heights.
No, if it's good for television, it's good for me.
I agree with that right up until I might die doing it. That's where I draw the line.
I figure if someone takes a tour up there, they probably have one of those like belt hooks or something. They could have kept me tethered. It would have been fine. The point is, I will go to Madrid and I will participate in the culture as best that I can, as documented with the Guinness drinking.
What is the most ridiculous live shot you've ever done? Going back to CBS days, other places you've worked, like the one that jumps out where you're like, that was so ridiculous that it was also really fun.
Oh man, what a great question. Racking my brain, live shot. So on the NCAA tournament assignment, we will have our day of 4 games, and then the next day is a down day for us, but the other sites are playing. But if there's like a Cinderella feel-good story, they want us to do like a feature shoot with the guys. So Little Rock, Arkansas beat Purdue in Denver. It was one of Purdue's many like number 2 seeded losses, and I think I've witnessed like 4 of them. They don't want me near their games. So Little Rock, Arkansas beats them. Chris, what's his name? He coaches Texas Tech now. Chris.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's coaching Little Rock, Arkansas. And he's got this player who says he eats cinnamon ice cream before every game. So like, then we got to get the cinnamon ice cream in between. And so we're like live eating cinnamon ice cream, and like Barkley's got something to say about it. And just like the commentary, kind of going back to the Guinness, the commentary while you're eating or drinking something on live television and you're trying to like not look like it's just going to be the most clipped off thing on the internet is a really hard balance. So that was one. I did a horse jumping competition once live in my first job in Boston. And that was just like, honestly, the horse jumpers, the athletes would come over to me and I'd be like, what am I supposed to ask you right now? I didn't know.
Boy, that horse jumps really high.
Yeah, I'd be like, exactly. It's how I used to handle it with hockey players in games. I'd be like, what am I supposed to ask you right now? Like, that's how you learn TV sometimes, how to do it. So horse jumping and cinnamon ice cream eating at the NCAA tournament.
I'm also a fan of eating on TV. It has to be contextual. It can't just be, I'm going to hoon down a hot dog in the middle of every show and ta-da, great TV.
I don't think there's a time that a hot dog's ever contextual.
What do you got over there, Brockman?
I have a cinnamon roll.
Where's it from?
Our bakery across the street.
Tell me why I should eat it.
It smells delicious.
Want to split a cinnamon roll, Tom?
This is quite the challenge
really
here.
Good.
Also, Jamie, when you were describing how you were taking the Guinness to the Dome, you gave me a new fantasy team name, I think, and that's
Guinness to the Dome?
Singular Glug.
Singular Glug.
Yeah, Singular Glug. I was thinking the same thing.
Really?
I might change one of my team names to that. So
could also be if you start another YouTube show because you need more things to do.
True.
It could be you're drinking a beer, you're talking about sports, and you take the Singular Glug that is a one taste Dave Portnoy pizza-esque, and that is the entire substance of your review.
Yes. I do on my No Break show. On Thursdays, I do an NA Thursday blind taste test. So I'm trying new NA products because they say, take a break sometimes. So like I'm going to do that in terms from drinking. And so I try NA products. And then on Fridays, I do Crack It Fridays, and I taste new beers because it's a Friday and it's been a week. So I'm going to try, I think, Sam Adams next week. They're going to send me some stuff.
Nice.
And yeah, it's just like a new way for me to be able to try things in the spirit of, I did this social media series this summer where I listened to old CDs of mine, blind listen, no judgment. And so now I'm like, what else can I do blind on camera and just your full authentic judgment of it immediately?
It's like when Brockman will bring up extremely popular 80s and 90s movies and I won't have any idea what he's talking about.
He has no idea what we're talking about.
I have no clue. I've gradually been making my way through them, namely on planes when I come here.
Right.
And I'll be like, I'm going to watch The Terminator for the first time
Which is
on
odd
this
for
plane.
you because you're like Mr. Music, I feel like, from those eras, but it doesn't hit with the movies.
I think it was a hard line of parents not letting me watch R-rated movies when I was a kid. And so like there's just this huge glut of movies. I'm slowly making my way through them, but then we had the director from Bull Durham on yesterday. I'm like, never seen Bull Durham.
Oh.
Rich, it was a taped interview with Rich, to be clear. I would have watched it if I were doing the interview. We got 30 seconds left.
Okay.
You haven't been aggregated enough for anything you said so far today, so your MVP favorite right now, go.
I really sound like I have a problem right now. I pretend chugged a beer on Good Morning Football to promote the fact that I thought Baker Mayfield was going to win MVP, and this was on September 1st. So I'm going to stand by that.
Good
job. It's a pretty solid pick.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was an orange soda. We duct taped it to make it look like. Then it was hard for me to put the key into the duct tape, and then I couldn't crack it. My hands were sweating, and I finally got it open, and then it just went everywhere.
Which orange soda is much worse than beer because that will sink in and stick.
Yeah.
Beer you wipe off like water.
Yeah. So I stand by my initial pick of Baker Mayfield, and because you need a good story and a good character, and he is all of those things.
Awesome.
Jamie, you were a good story. You're a good character, good sport for being here.
Tom.
Appreciate it. Jamie Erdahl, everybody.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.